YouTube, Muckluck here, and today we spent time trying out the Power Dragon Hunter. How good is it? Is it easy to learn? Those are the kind of questions we're trying to answer. One thing I can already tell you is they haven't hunted a single dragon that any other character has hunted, so they're not very good at their job. All right, now, first off, what is the build? You can find the build on the normal websites. I learned the basics of the rotation on Guild Gen. However, I tried the armor recommendations that were both on Guild Gen and on Snowcrows. I ended up getting the best results when I was using Assassin's gear with, I think, like 2 pieces of Berserkers. Yeah, I've got like, I think the hat and 1 ring Berserkers, Greatsword and Longbow with Force and Accuracy. And that gets me 100% crit chance when you include boons. And then this is the build right here. There are 2 versions of the build. There was one that had Virtues, and there was another one that was Radiance. I found the Virtues one to be slightly easier to play for me as an outsider. And how does this crap work? I have to use 1 more food buff for this video. So essentially, you do bonus. I'm going to summarize these things. Whenever you hit something with Spear of Justice, it will do the golem doesn't show it, but there's a burning chain between you and them. You do bonus damage to anything with that chain. That's your F1. Additionally, when you hit things standing on one of your symbols, which your Greatsword 4 and your Longbow 4 are symbols, so it's always the 4 button, it's easy to remember, you do bonus damage. So you want to always, if possible, use your F1 on them before other things, and you want to always have your symbols down. So just to quickly demonstrate what that looks like, we're just gonna run up to this thing, and I actually started in the wrong weapon set. I am already off to a great start. And what's up here? And refresh that. The 3 skill is an interrupt, so we're just saving that right now. All right, and do that. And currently, I've already made a huge mistake, and we're at 33k. So I'm already doing better on this after, honestly, I was doing better on this after 5 minutes than I was on Weaver after an hour. But, you know, that's, I'm not sure if that's a high bar. All right, so it's dropped down a little bit. We're at 30k now. But yeah, it's very easy to play. It's extremely easy to play. So I'm gonna run over here and I'm gonna reset the console, which will just respawn the golem, which will make me leave combat. So at any point in time, you use your F1, you use your 4, and then you use your other damage buttons. Your other damage buttons are Longbow 2, 4, 5. On Greatsword, it's pretty much everything. Except Binding Blade, when you use it, the first hit attaches a beam to other things, and if you hit it again, it pulls them. So you don't need to do the second hit unless you're trying to literally move mobs, or if you're trying to CC something. For CC, what do we have? Double tapping F1 does a pull, double tapping the Greatsword 5 does a pull, Longbow 3 does a push, the Bane Signet, and when you activate it, it will do 300 CC. And Dragon's Maw, I could not find on the wiki the exact that it does, but I tested on the Golem with Bane Signet, and then I tested with Dragon's Maw, and it seemed to do less. I'm guessing this is like 250 plus. So this does some CC, but usually if I needed to CC, the first thing I went for was Bane Signet because it hit the hardest. Sword of Justice and Procession of Blades are also just pure damage. Now, between your 2 weapons, I think Longbow auto attacks do less damage than Greatsword auto attacks. So most of the guides encouraged you to, once you've used your other Longbow skills and they're on cooldown, you know, feel free to burn these and get those going. You can use whatever heal skill you want. I changed to this one because I just felt a little more comfy with the trap heal. And that's mainly it for the damage. How is it to play? Not bad. I tested it in a Wing 2 raid, and Wing 2 has a lot of weird mechanics. Like on the first boss, certain people have to turn into a slubbling and go eat mushrooms to clear acid. So that whole mechanic, while I was doing that, I wasn't doing damage. So I fell down on the meter, but as far as damaging on the fight, it was totally fine. I was in charge on the second boss fight of killing the saboteurs, which are these guys that are running and trying to assassinate some NPCs. And I found that Longbow 5 was great. Longbow 5, for anyone who doesn't know, it basically does baby gates around a bunch of everything that gets hit by it. So it was really easy to drop that in the path of the saboteurs. They would run in, get caught by it, and then just kill them. And it was really easy to keep the prisoners or the NPCs alive that I was trying to save. On the final boss, Matthias, I actually had the first trouble on it for the first time, because Matthias is a boss that really likes to move around. He's constantly moving all over the place. Meanwhile, I'm putting stationary things on the ground that do damage, and he was constantly moving out of them. And it wasn't like a huge problem. I was doing respectable damage, and there was also like poisons and stuff you have to run out and things like that. But it was an interesting thing because I've never had a time on another character on that fight where I was impacted by his wiggling. This was the first time I was impacted by that wiggling, and that was a thing. Of special note are the F2 and F3. The F2, most of the builds recommend just doing it as part of using it as part of your damage. However, the F2 also is a movement skill, does damage at the end, does healing at the end, does boons at the end, cures conditions at the end, and of course it's a leap, so it can move you. It's a fantastic get out of jail free card. It just gets you out of the crap. Wonderful skill. I preferred to, because basically the damage it does is like double an auto attack. So when you use it in place of an auto attack, you're getting like 1 extra auto attack. I just chose to save this for when I needed it. And there was one point on Matthias where I needed to, for people who don't know the fight, I had a debuff on me. It was killing me. I had to run to a clean fountain to cleanse it off of me. And the only clean fountain was on the opposite side of the room. And this helped me get there in time to save my life. And it would not have been available if I had been burning it for damage in that moment. It also would have been possible to save my life if I had better observational awareness there, but I'm just explaining what happened. The F3 with this trait is an area of effect Aegis, area of effect stability, and area of effect stun break. Incredible thing to just always have on hand. 38-second cooldown. With Alacrity, it would be even less than that. So anytime my whole group, we had a big hit coming, or we all got stunned because we messed up, or something like that, F3 gets the whole party out of whatever it was and prevents more of whatever it was for the next few seconds. That's remarkable. That's like protect me from a ranger plus defense field from a scrapper, kind of like half rolled into one, and it's on a baked in thing that's always there. I love this. This is wonderful. This is utility that it's bringing to a group. Like this one button is more utility than the entire Weaver class. I'm sorry, Weavers. I'm still mad at you. All right, this one button is incredible. Okay. Like it does so much, and it's always there, and you don't even have to change anything on your bar. All right, the F2 is, again, it's mostly about you. It's not helping other people, but it does a lot. It gets conditions off of you, it moves you, it heals you, it does a lot to save you. Talking about extra utility, I've said in many other videos that Guardians and Mesmers, in my opinion, have some of the best toolboxes down here. If you need to, you could swap out Sword of Justice and bring some examples. Wall of Reflection to reflect shots. Advance to have more ways of giving Aegis in a pinch. Stand Your Ground to give another source of stability to the whole party if you need more stab for the party. There's a lot of really juicy options in here that this class can sacrifice one damaging thing on the bar to bring. Shut up, I'm talking. So yeah, overall, how did I feel about this one? Let's go to the list. Okay, so we were able to pretty good, let's see, the test we just did was like 33k. So I was able to, after a few hours of playing this, pull 33k. Snowcrow says I should be able to do 42,000, but they're mathematical geniuses with this stuff. So I, as a Dragon Hunter newbie, was able to do 33k after a couple of hours. As Assassin, too many S's in that. Assassin gear with 2 Berserkers. We did it with power, easy to learn. Yeah. CC, good. Not the best, but way better than Weaver. Miscellaneous utility. Yes, it had some great stuff. AoE stun break, AoE stability, AoE Aegis, and more. I had a lot. Ranged or melee? Half. So the reason I write that is Greatsword was melee, the longbow was ranged. If I was in a moment where I was stuck at ranged, I would just, because usually if you're in melee, you just keep swapping between them. But if you were stuck at range, you could just camp the longbow for a while until you needed to, you were able to get back into melee and then go back to swapping. Well, is it intense to play? I would say low to mid. Was it fun? Yeah, it was all right. So one thing I just thought of, one of the only kind of problems I noticed with this, watch this. I'm gonna use the 2, Whirling Wrath. When the cast bar finishes, the ability is not done. So if, for example, you're in the middle of a fight and you're doing like 2, okay, the bar's finished, and then you do 3, I just interrupted, like, I just lost half my Whirling Wrath damage. Like, if I start doing this, and the moment I see the cast bar finish, I go to the next skill, it's not done. That seems like a bug that should be fixed. Because, like, again, 2, and then the bar's done, it keeps going. Like, half the attacks aren't done yet. So if you're going to play this, I guess be aware of that. That seems like a bug to me. I don't know why that is. But when it's done with the cast for Whirling Wrath, the ability is not finished. It keeps going. So that's just something worth mentioning. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Dragonhunter, pretty solid. It has a reputation for being incredibly bursty. It is able to, you know, go into a fight and do just an absolute mountain of damage on the front end. So you could see like 64,000 on one of those. It just does an absolute mountain of damage at the beginning, and then it kind of, you know, settles down. It's been popular in fractals for years because it could just burst through almost all the packs of mobs and then do respectable damage on the bosses, stuff like that. But yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts on Dragonhunter. Pretty cool. Not a bad class. Has some good utility. It's the kind of teammate I would like to have in my groups. And pretty easy to gear and play, I would say. And yeah, if you think I did anything wrong, put it in the comment section down below, and I will fight you there.